How's everybody with the Hurricane Milton hitting Florida? That's crazy. So like, when I hear about big hurricanes hitting Florida, it's almost every other year there's another one. It's just like the hurricanes that hit that state is nuts. That's why the people are so crazy over there, bro. Like I've seen so many different people. I remember watching I think his name is Savage now on Instagram, but bro, it's been so long since I've watched his content. Ultimately, he's a surfer guy, and he has like dirty blonde hair, and he's like really like, you know, like really surfer looking basically. Anyways, if anyone's ever seen him before, you know who I'm talking about. Anyways, if you know, you know. I guess that's the statement, right? And I seen him, and the first time I ever seen an actual hurricane about to hit, and there's so many warnings, and the news going wild about it. People are talking about it, and all this extra stuff. I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy talk. Like, this is about to go down, bro. It's about to go down for real, for real. And I'm like, why doesn't he just leave? Like, he's talking about he's going to stay through the storm and all this stuff. I'm like, why wouldn't you just leave? You should just bounce, bro. He has the means to leave. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can understand if you just don't have the means to leave. I'm not saying that everybody should just bounce, but I'm just saying, like, if you have the means to leave, why would you stick around and just be like, oh, it's all good? It's because they're from there. And it's not the first time that they've heard a crazy storm coming through. This storm hits all the time. Me personally, from a guy who's looking from the outside in, I'm like, bro, I live in Arizona. There is no hurricanes here. If I was there in Florida, and I just moved there, been there for about a year and a half, nothing's happened. Yeah, I had some tropical storms, but nothing crazy. And then all of a sudden, this big enough storm to where it wipes away just towns of stuff. And people like have all their stuff just piled up in the middle of in the middle of their yard and stuff. Like, I've seen videos of this like this lady who does DoorDash in Florida, and she went to this part that was hit by a hurricane, the previous one that just happened basically, and all it was just this mountain of stuff in front of people's houses. Like, I'm talking about this whole block just filled with stuff just in the front yard. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy. That is absolutely insane. The fact that's what could happen out here, you know? And so I don't know if the insurance companies are still covering these things, but it's insane. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. That's how it could happen? Just out of nowhere? I was like, bro, if it happened to me one time, I would bounce. I would be out of there so quick. Like, there's a lot of people who like live in New York. They get tired of it being too cold, and they end up moving all the way to the West Coast so they can have the opposite weather. As a Floridian, don't you think the same thing? Like, I know this is home, but don't you think the same thing as a Floridian? Like, bro, I get tired of the scary storms. I get tired of the scary storms. I get tired of that my stuff might get washed away. I get tired of all this stuff, and I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to just bounce. Like, bro, like, there's no way. I would visit Florida all day, every day. Live in Florida, I just couldn't do it. Aside from the crime and people that are crazy, like, and tropical storms and hurricanes and the lifestyle period. Like, I mean, it sounds cool, but like, dude, I'm good, bro. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. If it happened one time, bro, I just couldn't do it. And I know if you don't have the means to do it, to leave, unfortunately, you're stuck there. I get it. But, bro, like, gosh, I just couldn't do it, man. I don't think I'm strong enough to be the guy that's going to be sitting there in that storm, especially not to ride it out. Like, bro, there's some people in there like, I'm going to ride it out. Like, I can't remember that one guy Lieutenant Dan, is that what they call that guy? He's standing in the boat. My gosh, bro, like, that's crazy. It's just him. People are checking in on him. The news showed up. Like, people care so much about this one dude that's in there, but what about the countless people who've literally just been swept? The people who died, they just became a statistic saying, oh, 112 people died today from, the hurricane. What are their names? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even have names. They're just like, all these people died. There's no names in this thing. It's crazy, bro. I got to do this order. I'll be right back and continue this thought. So for me to actually like deal with any type of hurricane at all is just like 0%. That's why, like, okay, when I lived in Muskogee, Oklahoma, they had tornadoes. Now, they never had a tornado actually in Muskogee while I was there, but it would always hit the outskirts of town, and I just always thought about the day, because it's frightening. Like with hurricane, it just kind of happens, right? Like they tell you it's coming. I don't know if they have any sirens, but all the videos I've ever watched, I've never heard any sirens. But with tornadoes, they have this siren. I don't even know where it's centrally located, but these things are loud, so terrifying, and you don't know what it is. As soon as they say there's one in a 30-mile radius of you, and even kind of heading your direction, those things go off. So I heard it over the 2 years I lived there. It went off probably about like 4 or 5 times. Only one tornado was literally this close to getting into Muskogee, and just as it was just about to cross the line, it literally went right back in the sky and then jumped over Muskogee and then went straight to Wagner, which is just north of it, and destroyed that whole place, bro. Or destroyed Tulsa. There's all types of places that get a lot more tornadoes than Muskogee. There was something protecting Muskogee, I'll tell you that right now. Muskogee, Oklahoma, I've never seen any tornadoes whatsoever, ever. Now, there was close calls. Like I said, there was always these close calls. But I thought about that. I was like, at this point, I'm too young, so it's not like I'm able to just move. Otherwise, I would have never moved there in the first place. But I couldn't imagine living there as an adult. Just to say, oh, have you ever lived in Oklahoma? No, you should go. All right, me and my family move out there to Oklahoma, and then that happens. Oh yeah, I'm leaving. I'm gone. There's nothing. I mean, Muskogee, Oklahoma is a nice place, good for bingo and fishing and small little outdoor things for sure. But for the most part, there's nothing really to do in Muskogee compared to Tulsa. Tulsa's the main town, and there's a bunch of stuff to do there. Now that is saying based off of like years ago when I was there. Now, I have visited years later, which is still quite some time from right now, but it was basically the same exact thing. So trust me, ain't nothing changed, bro. Ain't nothing changed whatsoever. So I just refuse to say that I'm going to go to that place and ever live there again. I might visit there, I might drive through there, all of that, but living there, nah. So think about Hurricane Milton, that you can name it whatever you want to name it. There's always going to be another hurricane next year or the year after that. One of these years, every single time, is going to be back all the time. So it's not a surprise. There's no one ever making a video talking about, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised that this happened. No. If it's your first time, you might have said that. But if you're from Florida, you know that this happens. Get out of Florida, man. If that's you, please just take this as a eye-opener and say, you know what? I'm tired of all these huge hurricanes ruining my stuff. Even if it's covered by insurance, it still ruins stuff. It's still hard to see. It's still like, dang, bro, like, ugh. And then you got to go and file a claim, and then they're asking for all this information, and it's not a short process for an insurance claim because they don't want to pay out. They don't want to pay out whatsoever, but they obviously have to, so they do. Then they have like a government relief, that say, hey, boom, and we'll help you out this way. Like, we'll help you out this way, we'll help you out that way. But like, man, I'm just surprised I am literally surprised that there's so many people that live there in Florida and just deal with this year after year. I couldn't do it, not even once, bro. My prayers go out to you, bro, but geez. At this point, it's like, what's gonna happen. It's not gonna change, bro. It's not gonna magically stop happening. You know it's gonna be continuous. So like, at this point, it's like, I don't want to say it's your fault, but it's kind of like your fault if you stay, right? Like, if you can't afford to leave, I can understand. But if you can afford and you have the means to leave, bro. Like, my God, just leave. I know, like, people are like, bro, I'm from Florida, I love Florida, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying you can never come back, but just, bro, bounce. Anytime it's hurricane season, I'm sure there's always a certain time of year that there's a hurricane ready to go. Just leave before then. I would do this every single year. I would come out there, I'd buy a house, right? Boom, and do what I need to do, and then sell the house. Or actually, you know what? I would just rent. Why would you buy? I mean, because not every year is going to be a profitable year. You might be losing money. So, like, you just go in and rent a nice house and bounce, just like these people over here do. You know, there's people that are snowbirds that come from everywhere else, and when it's snowing over there, they come over here to Arizona, and there's no snow here, so they hang out and they live here, and they have a bunch of houses here and all this stuff. And then when the summer heat's right back around the corner, they bounce. They don't deal with all the problems of the winter. They might deal with come back, if something happened, like the roof caved in or something. But other than that, they don't deal with nothing, So just do something of that nature. But except for not everybody can do that. That's like a flex. So I would just say, if it's you, just go in, rent the house, move upstate somewhere where they ain't got no hurricanes, and come back down later. Like most everybody I've seen say that they're going to go somewhere else, they usually go up to like Georgia and hang out for like a week or so. And then once it's blown over, it's good, they go back, But at the same time, your stuff's still there. Everything is still there. So yeah, sure, you and your family is still safe, but there's still destruction of stuff that is now gone. Like, I'm sure it doesn't hit the same part of Florida every time, but every time I see the map, I feel like it kind of does. It goes like through the center of Florida every time I see it. Like every now and then I've seen it go down to the southern part, but like for the most part, that goes right through the heart of Florida every time. I would just bounce, bro. I don't want to make this sound like I'm insensitive whatsoever, because my heart goes out to y'all for real. But dude, just bounce, dog. You just bounce. Just leave. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to stay there. Besides the fact that you're from there, there's no real reason to stay. Okay, you owe nobody nothing. Just bounce, bro. Like, my God. All right. That's all. That's my rant about that, bro. Like, I figured that I would just want to weigh in as a person that's not even close to Florida, and it'd take 24 hours and 24. The GPS said from here to Miami is 24 hours plus another 10. So that's 34 hours it would take to drive from where I'm at right now all the way to you. So I ain't feeling no hurricane. I remember when they were like, "Oh, there's going to be a hurricane coming through," and I'm like, bro, there's no way it's going to break landfall and go through a whole country called Mexico, come all the way over here to Arizona where I'm at to even affect any part of this area. Yeah, but it's the biggest one that's ever been recorded in life, or whatever they said. I don't know what they said, but they said something of that nature. And I was like, bro, it's still not coming. I'm not going to ruin my day and try and bounce because you guys think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it didn't. It barely sprinkled outside. Barely even sprinkled outside. So they were wrong. It wasn't even close to here, bro. California, them having a hurricane, like, okay, cool, because there's water over there. There's no water here. There's water here, but there's no water like that. Like, there's no ocean over here whatsoever, okay? You're not going to find an ocean over here. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe if you got a little bit of value or a little bit of entertainment. Hopefully you just got more value than entertainment, okay? I want you to understand that. Like, my heart goes out to you if you're watching this from Florida. But bro, just bounce, okay? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate ya. Peace.